K-pop sounds more and more like American pop instead of K-pop.
Go Vernon, we've
And
been
I think a
saying
lot of
that.
people talk about that too. So it makes me want to go back to like the 2000s or like the 2010s, like early 2010s. Like when I was in elementary school,
Oh,
like
that's crazy.
Wonder Girls or Big Bang.
When I was
21.
making
that's
weird
true.
videos with my sister, and now I was an influencer before influencing was a thing, and I was doing TikToks before TikToks were a thing.
No,
and
but it's true because I came across this video of T.O.P. and G-Dragon on stage, like playing rock paper scissors to swap verses halfway through the song, and I
that
feel
was
like,
That's
and
K-pop.
that was that's K-pop, and the whole thing is like they had no vocal backing tracks, they had no splits, everything was like
Well, in my opinion, honestly,
whatever happened in the moment.
the only true pure K-pop act at the moment, like that sings live 100% of their set, I think is Big Bang. Because BTS have become Americanized in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they
People
have.
will be angry at that, and
But they have
and
been a
it
little
seems
bit.
rude. But when most of your discography in the last 5 years is in English, when most of your or most successful tracks are appealing to the West because you wanted to get the Western awards, because you wanted to get the Western market, you do then sacrifice your own identity.
And I don't criticize that either, because that's also a very cool thing to do artistically.
But it leads us into the problem of, a lot of people sometimes ask us, why did you guys change the tone? Like, when we started discovering Korean pop, we were immensely positive about it. We would never criticize anything. Part of two reasons. One, we were learning about that industry. And then second of all, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it was unique, it was creative, and it was different.
The training was better.
Yeah.
The idols were better. The standard was higher, because the people that were fans and teaching us about K-pop at that time were the last generation, the oldest part of that generation, and they left. They have become very, very uninterested in K-pop. And then a few of their groups, like the Super Junior fans, for example, they're no longer fucking number one, are they? So those fans also dissipate. And the good old days, Big Bang, 21 fans. So that sort of dissipates a bit. And then you start getting the new generation. Cortis is fucking borderline an urban American group. What about, Les Seraphim are interesting because sometimes they have really it's sort of like Korean pop with American.
I'll tell you who is the girl group that I think sort of
Can I guess?
really, yeah.
IVE.
Absolutely. The girl group that has, and they're not new, they're like third gen, fourth gen.
And I want to put...
And I think they have really maintained the sound and like the concept of Korean pop.
Yeah, K-pop. Yeah, sometimes it's cocktail music. What I mean by cocktail music is different genres mixed in together. I think, look, NCT 127, I think always remained quite K-pop, regardless of whatever
But then
issues.
again, look at them. They're not gonna be number one for a bit.
It's not of the future. EXO at the moment maintained its K-pop identity.
Again, not number one, not even relevant in the charts anymore.
Yeah, so
so sad.
Red Velvet has always sort of maintained that to a certain extent. I think. But if you look at the new generation of boy groups from SM, for example, I think Rise became immensely Americanized with the productions and the teams that they started working on as well, a lot more. I think Boy Next Door are also another example of that. I think, and in terms of Hybe, I think Hybe are the biggest culprits in this,
Yes.
especially with their boy groups.
Yes. It's because they saw the success internationally so quickly, so fast. And I thought they obviously... And if you look at the production teams and like who's writing the songs and who's creating the tracks, and it's
more American
all,
than ever.
Yeah, it's all American people, and if it's not American, it's very international, and that diluted the original sound.
Facts. I also feel like that was probably our biggest criticism of BTS's album. It wasn't that BTS's album was bad.
No, we liked the songs.
It was like, if you're selling me Korean.
Why does it sound like something else?
No, why is it American? Why is Metro booming in this shit?
And why is Diplo here?
Fuck those guys. Great producers, amazing. But if the project is Korean.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
I don't care about the Korean references and it has Korean language.
I
That's
want it to sound like it.
I also want it to be Korean, like Korean made. We already have American made music. We already have American songs. We already have and what
We
I mean
have
by
Western music already.
and what I mean by American songs is songs composed, written, and produced by Americans. I wanna have songs written, composed, and produced by Koreans.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
whole
that would
reason
be
of
cool.
why we became, attracted to the international market. Japan does this very well. Can you have collaborative efforts? Of course, we live in a
Totally.
fucking super connected world. But when the main producer of a project that has stamped on it, this is Korean. This is like we're gonna have a Korean traditional sounding shit as the title track because
That's who we
because that's who we want to represent.
Yeah.
And then 5 out of the fucking 6 songs are made by Metro Booming. I'm like, what? That's fucking mental, innit?
Yeah, and the overall teams are very westernized, and there's very little of that. Yeah, I don't the original sound. I
And the
suppose.
boys may want to do this. I mean, obviously in the documentary that was quite, it was kind of crazy that they left that on, but they wanted to. Like some of them didn't want to lean towards it. Some of them did like it more. Some of them wanted to do things a bit more intertwined. And then
And
Hype
this is
is
not
like.
a BTS problem.
No,
Though,
it's not
by the
BTS.
way.
I'm saying Hype, the label.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what gets approved. Look, Vernon. Look, it doesn't matter how big 17 is, and the fact that some of them write, and the fact that some of them compose. It's the same with Stray Kids and JYP. Stray Kids may be a bit of an anomaly because they just proven their worth so much with their own compositions, and Bang Chan got slapped so many times, similar to what GOT7 did. It's just Stray Kids.
Sold better.
GOT7 had to die for Stray Kids to
I agree
thrive.
with that.
So
I 100% agree.
yeah, because
with
what
that.
JB went through in GOT7, what Jackson went through in GOT7, what
creatively speaking,
Jin
they
Young
were
went-
spot on.
of course, and that had to
Yeah.
happen, and then it turns out, oh fuck, the fans actually like what they make, and they would have, the fans actually care about who writes songs. Then Bang Chan was coming up, and you let him do his thing. But so Stray Kids a bit of an anomaly. But with the 17s, they're a big, they dip heads in Hype because they sell so much and they're really one of the best revenue makers in the company. He still needs to get the stamp of approval by the big heads and the board of directors, the studio teams, the production teams. So it's up to them. Now he wants to return to the fucking, K-pop sounding stuff, the 17 of fucking 2019, and it's like, that's awesome, but there has to be then a change of culture and a change of expectation by the fandoms.
And that will dictate what the labels will start to approve yet again. It's a long journey to get there.
all that. I think it's because like K-pop producers always try to bring American sounds to K-pop and like make it their own thing. And I think right now they got to the point where they're too good. So like there's you can't differentiate between K-pop and pop. I mean you can, but like the gap has become more and more thin.
I think also they were obsessed with this idea. I think a lot of, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Filipino, Thai,
Yeah,
Indonesian,
just the Asian market overall.
but K-pop specifically had an obsession at the time to sort of be accepted by the West, to win the Grammys, to win the fucking Oscars, to win the fucking #1 Billboard charting song in the US, to sell out stadiums in the US. That's the dream. Because if you spoke to any Korean idol at the time, which we obviously had the huge honor to, and we still do now, but even earlier than that, who do you want to be like? I want to be like Bruno Mars. Who do you want to be like? Michael Jackson's my inspiration. So, and then the producers are the same. Fucking, I love what Metro Boomin is doing. I love what fucking, this beat maker is doing, and I love that stuff, and they're my inspiration. And they thought the only way they could compete was if they made things that were obviously at that quality. The quality was always a good idea, but that sounded similar, so then they could be put in the same block, and then they could start collaborating and start competing in the international charts, and in the most importantly in the American charts.
And can I say something? That formula worked. That formula worked.
Well,
and
that chase
that's
for
the
excellence.
reason, yeah, and that's the reason why we have so much internationality in the world of music and so many bridges between genres and world industries. However, I do think that some of the charm that initially captivated me as a music fan, as a pop
It's just
listener.
that it's different
was-
stimulation.
Yeah, was the originality, was the fact that you were exposed to something that the West couldn't make, couldn't sustain its livelihood. Like the pop group era of Western music died. They didn't know how to reinvent it and keep it alive. However, Korean pop did it very well and actually bettered the formula and made it even more interesting.
Well, they made it into a fucking manufacturer. They
Yeah,
turned themselves into a manufacturer
and
of
it
idols.
made it interesting, and each group sounded different, and each group had a different idea, a different concept. And I
also-
feel like right now you're having sort of this pandemic where everybody sort of looks the same, everybody kind of
Sounds the same.
sounds the same. They're sort of stealing each other's writers and composers and
Always.
producers.
Not
And they're
stealing, just
bouncing
recycling.
yeah, they're bouncing in and out of things, and you're losing some of that individuality in there.
Which did happen in the past also. I think the only concern is, but I mean, I think there's three big concerns. I think one, once you go international, once you see the big money that you can be made abroad, it makes other labels invest more in their training programs, invest more in the production of a song, and also have higher expectations. So they also means it's the same thing that happened with, in the movie industry. You go for safer projects and things that are not so outside of the box because you have to
Remakes and
respond.
sequels.
You have to respond and answer to your board of directors and your investors, and you have to make that money back. If not, you go broke. Hence why, if you've ever paid attention, especially closely to the new debutant groups from many different labels, not just the big guys, they're less weird. That's basically the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, they're less eccentric.
They're
And
less experimental.
I love the fact that we could be weird and eccentric, and the upcoming groups, everybody had a sort of like a hunger to be the outliers.
New Jeans had to fail for Eyelid to be born.
Yes. Yes.
GOT7 had to die for Stray Kids to be let go.
Yeah.
What does this tell you? It proof of concept. They just need to know that it works financially. They're not willing to take a creative risk. Fuck that shit. They're business people. They're not musicians. So that's a problem, and that's also very
But it's refreshing to hear it from somebody like
of
Vernon.
course.
Yeah,
What the
it's really
fuck?
cool.
He's about it.
And I think a lot of people, that makes a lot of people like want to go back to like old K-pop.
Yeah, totally.
So
Nostalgia.
that's
is a
something
good
I think
thing.
about. Yeah.
Yes. I love this guy.
He's fucking
Love
right.
this guy.
He's fucking right.